Heyo, my Project PlanCo friends, Johnny5 Alive here, and I am joined with Batch.
Hello, my Project PlanCo friends. We're not done yet with the plots, but we're soon we are done.
We missed our first week ever. Apologies for that, but it was nothing we could do about that. There's a lot to be done now that all the rides are in, and even as amazing as you are, Batch, you are not Superman. You know, you
No.
you cannot. You are not Loki. You cannot travel through time and get things done in a godly, absurd amount of time. These plots take a lot to get down, and probably even more so than the city. Because when Batch, you did the city, we already had a layout, and you kind of just moved things around and adjusted things and replanned things and just optimized the layout and the amount of plots and just improved on things and expanded it. Whereas these areas, they're a little bit more intricate, a little bit more complicated, and there's a lot more to it. And also, you've already said to me that the sheet already has over 80 plots. Is that correct?
That is correct. I think we will have around 120, maybe even more. I'm currently building here the adventure area. I have more plots than you see on this version. So yeah, definitely 120 and more.
That's both good and bad because, as you can see, this park is getting like 20 FPS on our supercomputers.
Yeah,
but you know, when you're off in the corner riding these coasters and stuff, it'll go up and down, and you should be able to ride most of the coasters with a decent frame rate depending on where it's angled and what it's looking at. So yeah, like there are oh look, you put Yetis up here. Oh, that's adorable. Yeah, so there's some funny Easter eggs that we're going to discover after Batch has got his hands on them.
On the mountain.
And look at this, you started the train ride. Am I supposed to be showing this today or next week?
Oh, you can show it. The train ride is finished. I put down all the station. We have the Western Station, we have an Adventure Station, and we have a new island for Tiki. There's a station as well. It's on the other end of the park.
Wait, where's the station for the adventure?
This is the adventure station there where the green block is. No, the green block.
Oh,
there
I see.
There it is.
It's going out, and then I see. Yeah, that's that. So if you got on at the western area, you're basically not getting off until you get to here.
Yeah, that's the Tiki Island, or should be the Tiki Island then.
Tiki
but
Island.
That's the last thing. Tiki Island.
That's great. No, that's a good location for it. It'll fill out that area nicely. No, I like that.
Yeah, and at the other end of the park, so the impact is not that high. Nevertheless, speaking of impact, I set way stricter rules this time. So most of the plots are not allowed to use TMTK, not even the TMTK font, etc. But where it makes sense, where's a shop in or whatever, I allow the font, so you can set up shop names and whatever. So way stricter rules this time, because now we have to be carefully. We still want to run this park with around 20 frames. And we know there's a threshold in Planet Coaster, and we hit this threshold, so now we have additional 50 to 100,000 pieces more, and we will not lose on performance when we are careful. So like a Gaussian park.
We're at the bottom of the barrel. It can't get any worse, basically.
Yeah, basically, yeah. But we have to be careful. We will get nice builds, but it's just without TMTK, whatever. You can still go a little bit crazy on it, but not as crazy as in the past.
Yeah, so I didn't get to finish my thought about, we're going to have about 120 plus plots, maybe 140. It's both good and bad. The good thing is that, the community was quite satisfied with the 80 plots that they had to choose from with the city, and you're going to get at least 50% more. That means there's 50% more opportunities, and with this part of the city, some people even got to build multiple plots, like 2 or so. But we also had our contests, so that had a little bit of an impact where more people got to contribute with that. We also had our little contest for the main attractions, which people got to contribute for that. So there was some additional content along the way that sort of padded things a little bit and gave more opportunities because, for example, like this plot here, multiple people got to build for it, but only one eventually made it into the park, but we got to see what all those creations were. So there was an additional little bit of like, if we add up all of the contestants throughout the whole contest for all of the World's Fair plots, you could probably say that there was at least like another 60 plots, but they didn't inevitably make it into the park. But it was fun as a way for the community to participate in something. So I would say there was equal opportunities between phase 1 and 2, where phase 1 had less plots, but more contest opportunities. Phase 2 is going to have more plots and no contest opportunities. But in theory, if we talk about the contest that was these prototypes, that was for phase 2. So there were contest opportunities for phase 2, but they were for these prototypes and main attractions, and we didn't get a whole lot of participants. It's not as many as we thought or hoped, but it was a very niche request for the community to do, and not a lot of people wanted to step up to the plate for that. So there were opportunities, it's just not a lot of people jumped at them. Now, looking at where we are today and what we're going forward to next week, we're in the process of putting down the new plots, and as mentioned here, Batch has done about 80. So why don't we start with Sci-Fi? As we can come down here, we got all sorts of stuff, and we're basically going to give you guys a sneak peek of what the sign-out sheet is going to entail. And as Batch gets closer and closer to finishing, then probably like a week or two from now, we will open that sheet up to everybody. So right now in this video, you can kind of start scouting or, getting in your mind what your favorite plot is currently, and then next week hopefully you'll have the rest of the plots in between Tiki Island and Adventureland, right?
And a little bit of pirate.
And a little bit of pirate, maybe a couple things over
here. A
here
little
and
bit
stuff.
of pirate. Yeah, there on this pass. The whole pass will be filled with some little pirate.
We'll show you what we have for this week, which mainly entails sci-fi and fantasy, and then next week we'll have like more adventure-y style stuff. And then you'll have like an overall idea of what all the plots look like. Then the sign-out sheet's going to come live on Discord, and that's where you guys will have an opportunity to sign out the ones that you had your eye on. And we'll probably be going with the raffle system. And as a kind of a request to Batch, I asked him to color these plots based off of ranks. So you can see like this one's green. That's going to be like a new builder plus. This one is teal. That means it's going to be advanced plus. And this one's blue. This means it's expert plus. And in the case that like we didn't get enough experts to actually take out some of these blue ones, we'll let the masters take a hand at it, or maybe even downrank. We'll just have to see what happens when we get there.
Yeah, I mean, we still have some good experts. We have good builders that, just don't have the rank yet. But yeah, we will see, because I know some showed interest already in masters plots. But yeah, they're not yet have the master rank. But I know from these who asked that they are great builders and probably capable of doing it. So yeah, we have to see how it.
You did a little picnic park here, so this is not sci-fi related from the looks of it, right?
It's just a park.
And maybe we could get another one here, or I guess you could just fill that with detail later.
Just fill it with a little bit of foliage later then, yeah. And what I will do, what's important for you guys, you will get a park version for each of the areas.
I was just going to mention
you can
that.
Open the... Yeah. Okay.
No, go ahead. No, you're reading my mind. That's all I'm saying. We're both in sync.
Okay. Yeah, it's very important. So you get a version of the area, only the area in this park. So you have a really good performance. Everybody can open the park and build in the park and see what's your neighbor, what's the terrain heights, etc., etc. So you can keep that in mind when building all your blueprints. And I also placed down these alignment cubes. You can include the alignment cube in your blueprint, and then it's easier to place for us.
Exactly. So really smart. And basically, to reiterate on what Batch said, you would be opening up, if you're going to be working on sci-fi, you're going to open up sci-fi, and it's basically going to be just this, and the rest of the park will be gone. And that way you can,
exactly.
if I'm builder A and I'm making this building here, I can open up the park and build my building to fit my volume cube. And
Not only the cube. In this case, it's so important that you do it because the coaster goes through. It
Right.
also has to fit the coaster, so not
Yeah.
easy to do. But you
yeah, so you'll fit your cube, but you'll also have an opening on the back and the front, and then you're gonna decorate, this whole thing to fill this area as best as possible. And you'll know I have a buddy over here, I have a buddy over there, and don't like overstep your boundaries. You maybe can go over just a little bit or under a little bit, like we've done in the past. But generally speaking, if your build fits here snug right there as it is in your current version of the park that only has the sci-fi stuff, then when we put it in, it's going to be snug as a glove. And you'll even have an alignment cube to send us so that I can make sure that I align this perfectly, and
instead of with the placed plot. Yeah, exactly.
So pretty smart there. Let's take a look around. So as we come into Sci-Fi, we have our monorail that comes from the city. This is going to be like a Master Plus plot. This is a big sci-fi build. You can integrate some of those themes from Cosmic Cow and Dex R, right?
Yeah.
I haven't really read all of the rules here, but I trust that Batch has made a good executive decision on that. And this side of the park is more of that sci-fi Dex R stuff, right? Whereas this side of the park is more of that cosmic-y stuff, I would imagine, right? One thing I didn't really get...
I always wrote down it's sci-fi, Dex, and Cosmic Cow, so you decide on which style you want to use, what fits more. But yes, one side is more for the Dex R, one side is more for the Cosmic Cow, but I leave it to you how you will decorate your buildings, because they are best buddies and it fits together, in my opinion. So as long as it's a fitting sci-fi style with the colors and everything. So yeah.
I do personally feel like this side should be more Dexar, so maybe we can iterate that on the final version. I was hoping to have a Dexar.
Yeah, I can update the description to Dexar and not Dexar and Cosmic Cow. It's copy paste, so.
Yeah. Okay, so what we have over here, we have sci-fi shops, sci-fi town, sci-fi builds. And you guys can pause it at any point in the video to take a look at sci-fi city build here. So more sci-fi, more much like the city plots, but these are sci-fi.
And even one right skin is there, or a right integration, let's call it that. The big tower there, we didn't have a drop tower because a drop tower did not win. So I added one here. I thought it was fitting to this area when the coaster comes through the city. So we have now a drop tower as well.
That fits really nicely there.
Best, yeah.
So you could take a ride skin, is what this basically says. And then you could use this whole plot to theme that. And I guess you could build up to a certain height as well. That's pretty cool.
How you want to do, the pieces are limited, so yeah.
Yeah, so this is going to be, as you can see, most of these are sci-fi buildings. The nice thing about that is these sci-fi pieces are huge. And
they're huge, yeah.
You're going to be able to fill these builds, these sci-fi builds, much easier than with the city, because you can see that the size of these is pretty much larger than any build that's in the city, period.
Yeah, but you don't need a lot of pieces. And guys, less pieces is better.
Yeah, so basically...
but it still should look good. And
This is a metropolis in comparison, a massive monstrosity, but you're going to be using these monstrous pieces. As you can see with this tower here, it's pretty large. And how many pieces is this? 100.
Yeah.
So it's you're going to be able to make these builds with pretty cheap parts, unless you're doing these like intricate interiors.
Yeah, where the coaster goes through, and so I added a little bit to the piece count, because there you need smaller pieces. It has to be aligned with the coaster, etc. But where the coaster's not going through, I set it to a pretty low number. What do we have here? Oh, 500. That's a lot. Okay, maybe I should go down.
It's probably fine, but people want to have more of a detailed base with some of the blocky tops. Then it gives them an opportunity to detail that.
And
down
these
below
are more backdrop buildings. I mean, what you have here, a lot of these buildings are backdrops. The coaster comes through. The coaster's pretty fast, so you don't need to be super detailed there. There's no parsing, nothing. It's just a backdrop. It's for the coaster, so it feels more immersive when the coaster goes through there. So it doesn't need to be super detailed at this point because you don't see it from the coaster and there's no path where we walk by and could enjoy it a little.
This is a big complicated one because it's a boarding station.
Oh, yeah.
Decks are boarding station, and I if anyone remembers back in the day when we did a contest, there was like a Decks R arcade. I would love whoever takes this to try to transform this into like some big Decks R arcade, and probably would work well to communicate with whoever gets this top plot, because I think the two of them together kind of like fill this whole area. You have the boarding station and then this one on top, and if you kind of partnered up or talked or communicated, collaborated with the person above, you can kind of work together to make kind of like one big cohesive looking building, if that makes sense.
Probably, yeah.
And I think that would turn out really cool. So yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff here. Plaza
That's the
Center.
easy station. I think that the Cosmic Cow station is way more complex because you already have parts of it built and you have the path. So always include the already set passing. Don't do your own passing for the stations. It has to fit what's already been set.
Yeah, this one's
and
really
here
complicated.
You have the stairs. You have the already set queue and exit, etc. But this
you have
is
a top
this is
platform,
what we got.
lower platform. There's a lot to
This
deck
is
right
what
here.
we got. So, but let's see how it fits. At least here as well, use the alignment cube so we can.
But what you can
integrate
do
it easy.
is you can kind of use what's already been done here and like take inspiration from this and build off of that. You have a clear entrance here, so yeah. But you just have to make sure that these guys out front still have room to build. But yeah, it's really cool. I can, based on like how we saw the city transform, I could definitely envision
that the big
how this
city
will turn.
fits well. Because I was really struggling. What should we do with this area where the coaster's just flying around?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think the city is a cool solution. And there's also
agree.
some hidden area that I built. You fly a little bit
These
through
upper
space
plots
if you
are pretty
build.
cool. I like these.
Just some backdrops, some
Not to mention
technical
these.
details.
These are
Oh, yeah,
amazing.
we have these
So
as
this
well.
this is our sky plots. Basically, these are like
Yep.
sci-fi city plots in the sky where the coaster goes by, a big cloudy utopian futuristic sky world. Pretty cool. Love all the clouds here as well. This is amazing. And they're kind of small plots, but they're also kind of amazing. So you get to build on these little octagon things, and that's quite fun.
We have two for every rank.
Two
That
for every
was
rank.
fitting.
That's very
Two
good.
for every rank. Okay, except legends. I
Master
only
legend.
did the ranks from beginner to master. So legend rank. There are no legend ranks in this, in the park. Masters.
I would even say lumping builders and new builders together would have been fine. So we could have just had green in general, and then blue in general. But yeah, like if we look at our ranks, we have our like new builders and builders, which is green. We have our advanced and experts, which is middle of the pack, which is blue. And we have our masters legends, which are purple and orange. So in some cases, like we're going to probably, it's good that you have one of every rank in terms of all 6 of the ranks included, or at least 5, just to give everyone equal opportunity. However, there might be a situation at some point where maybe, there's too many builders and not enough new builders. So we give the builders the new builder plots, or vice versa, right? And there might be situations where we have too many advanced builders and not enough experts. So that's where I will probably make the executive decision to say, like, just blue is blue. So if you're advanced and you couldn't get a plot and there's just not enough experts signing stuff out, we'll give the advanced builders a chance to tackle one of the expert plots, and vice versa, if that makes sense. Because we might not have, we wanted to do a broad, get equal opportunity across all ranks, but in the case that there's too many of one rank that want a plot and not enough of another, we could just offload or transfer those opportunities up or down a rank, right? So that's kind of the plan going forward. Sci-Fi is looking great. There's a lot of plots here, a lot of big visions, and as the plots get in, I think going back and riding this Dexar coaster and even the Cosmic Cow coaster, it's going to be really cool. We actually have a sci-fi city, and looking at the size of it with all of the rides, it's actually comparable to that of the city.
It's also the biggest area for now. Adventure Antique is not done, so but it has the most plots.
Yeah,
I think
it's a lot. It's a big area, but it's more spread out.
Has only half of it.
But nothing will ever compare to the density of the city. Like, you know, we have
No.
so many plots that are just wedged together with so many micro details along the way.
I know.
So
I
the
know.
city is like really, really crazy, and I love it. But these other areas are they're gonna have these moments where you have big terrain in between and things like that. So they definitely have a different feel to them, and that's what's so unique about this project. So moving on.
Yeah, every area is different, and that's what I like on it. So yeah, I added here at the back.
We have
the
a
Moroccan. This is the new
fantasy
area
park
from
entrance.
Morocco.
Woo!
Exactly. We have now fantasy and an additional area because people love to build it, and it's the season. Yeah, that's a Morocco area. I had to add it because I have to know how to lay out, so I
No, this is
added the
great.
area.
Yeah, I love the little addition to the Morocco area. Wow.
So now we have really, really big stations, and we have the fantastic header.
weren't we gonna do teacups for him?
You want teacups? I can exchange it. I wasn't sure about it because I want a ride that's a little bit more crazy. But we can also use the teacups. It's okay.
This ride kind of works, and I like the tilt on it.
I was thinking about what's the best ride that fits. So a flat ride that fits to the fantastic header that's crazy, but still fits a little bit of the fantasy area when seamed nicely. So I went with this one. I even don't know the name. But yeah, when it fits, it's fine.
I thought Mad Hatter, because he's taking inspiration from Alice in Wonderland, and there was the Tea Party, right? So he is all about teacups. So
Yeah, the fantastic header is usually teacups, but he's also crazy.
but he has
we
been
can
used
decide
for
on it.
teacups in a different multiverse from the Bitter Elegance, where he had
Yeah,
his
he
own
already
teacup.
used teacups.
So this works. Maybe what we'll do is we'll just give the builder the option to choose for themselves. If they want to keep this, they can keep this. If they want to do teacups, they can do teacups. Whatever they have for the vision of this plot to make this the most suitable for this character, they can do either or, I think. Should be fine. So big
Okay,
fantasy
should
area
try
here.
it.
Lots of interesting fantasy plots. That's a funky shaped building. Little tower here. All of this is all fantasy themed. Lots of little shops and town pieces. And a big princess castle.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, it's so big because the ride is in this. So it's a little bit of a facade and the building
Yeah,
at the same time, what you have to build here.
that's cool. Some shops over here. A little bit of like a metropolis. I like this. This will look really cool as it comes through here.
This is the new area, a new theme.
A
this
Christmas
is
village.
not fantasy. Yeah, exactly. We have a Christmas village. I thought it was fitting there and was fitting to the season we are now entering, and the park was maybe released to Christmas. So
Is
I
this
changed
fantasy
here to
or
a little.
yeah, this is fantasy.
This is fantasy. So you have your fantasy area, and then you have a transition to this little Christmas village. Just a
Very
little bit.
cool. So it
With
looks
the
like
ride.
fantasy from here, but then if you transition under here, you come up into a Christmas villa.
Yeah, and you have a lot of little Christmas builds you can apply for. Not a lot of pieces, but yeah. And it's for the ride, so you see there's a path, a ride is going through. It's a sledge ride. Sled ride? Sled ride?
Sledge.
My English. Sledge.
There's a ride? How
There's
come
a
I don't-
ride
why don't
in
I
the
see
blue
it?
bin. It's in the blue, in the station building. The blue one.
Oh.
There.
So
Yeah,
you're
it's
gonna
hidden
make a ride?
You have to go through the block. Yeah, there it is. Oh, it's already done. It's there. That's why I sent you the song. The song was for this
Oh.
ride.
So rather than showing off the ride, because I think it'd probably be better to show off the ride when the buildings are in, right?
Oh
But,
yeah. Way better.
we can at least take a look at the track, and I'll just pull it out a little bit. Did you use a mod?
Yeah, it's modded.
Okay, so it goes off the track. Interesting.
Yeah, I used the coaster track so I can have it running down the hill. So it's not behaving like a coaster. So you have to set the speed. And it's not really behaving like a coaster, but it feels like a nice.
Wait a second. Now I have to ride it. I didn't download the song, but we can go.
Okay, yeah, fine.
Oh, it says Sleigh,
version when
Sleigh
the
Ride
park
is on
done.
there. We'll just do Sleigh Ride.
Yeah, then use that.
So wait,
It's a
it's
little
a
bit-
track ride that rides like a coaster from what you just mentioned. Yeah, I could hear
Uses a
coaster track. Oh my god, that's so cool.
It uses coaster track,
Uh-oh.
but it doesn't behave like a coaster.
If that's an alignment cube.
That was an alignment cube. So I just I grabbed the alignment cubes and placed them more or less random in front of buildings. Because they got deleted anyway.
So we're going to be able to navigate through all of these people's plots.
Yeah, that's what I want to see then.
That's pretty awesome.
To go to this little Christmas village.
So is this going to actually sled down the mountain then?
Yeah, but with a fixed speed, not like a coaster, unfortunately.
Oh.
And
Yeti.
you know these Yetis, you know these. It's the
Wow.
Yeti, right?
That is old school.
Yeah, it's all your Yetis.
Fitting.
Yeah. I thought it's a nice little Easter egg to the right, but it's also adding a lot of seeming to the right using the Yetis.
That's great. Yeah, I love it. Obviously. Oh yeah, that brings
And
me
it's so
back.
fitting to the season.
Yeah, I was building Yetis like literally what, like 7 years ago.
I downloaded your army and just picked some that were fitting to the right. Oh, these are all from the Yeti army. And now you're going down. But not in coaster speed, it's
right, this is cool.
Oh, but it feels cool.
You're still sledding, that's awesome. It's a little laggy, but what can we do? Looking at the whole park as we're coming down. This is the first time I've ever seen somebody make a sleigh ride. It's riding like it's a slow bobsled, but it's a sleigh ride.
Exactly.
That's literally a first. Well done. That is cool. The power of mods. I would love to see an elaboration on this idea.
Shout out to whoever created the Realism Overhaul version 3 mod. It's super.
This is awesome. All right, nice twist. I did not expect this going in. Suddenly, Project PlanCo has an additional area, but also kind of like an oversight on my part in terms of the initial planning, because one of the first updates we received, because Planet Coaster came out November 17th, 2016, if that's correct. I think it was like just a few weeks after the game came out, maybe a month, we got the Christmas pack, which was a free DLC, right? It was like an update to the game, I believe. And it added all these like candy things, like the gingerbread. Remember all that? Like, and I remember building something for my 1,000 subscriber special or something. I did like a gingerbread house. I wonder if it's in my blueprints or if I've cleared them out. I don't think I can access them here. Oh, look, there it is. Yeah. Oh, what?
There it is. No, it's
failed to load. It failed to load, but we can open it. We can open it on the workshop. Oh, anyways, there was an update that they added to the game. And it was part of like the Christmas stuff. And in this game in particular, you have all of these scenery assets that are related to kind of like Christmas.
Speaking from all the scenery assets and stuff, so all the themes we have now in the phase 3, is it phase 3? Is it phase 2? It's phase 2, are native to Planet Coaster. Pirates are native, fantasy is native, Christmas is native, sci-fi is native, adventure is native, tiki is adventure, kinda also native. So I don't think it's any problem to not use TMTK and stuff. We will get some awesome builds.
Other than this was a DLC, I believe, the Spooky Pack. But there isn't really a lot of plots. Yeah. There's like one plot, right? There's the
we
carnival.
Only have the station. I'm sorry for that. Yeah, the initial plan was that the ride is more in the back, and then it's going like the other main attractions, going back in the map. But this ride used mainly the main space, so where the plots. Nevertheless, it's an awesome ride. I rode it
I've been twisting your arm, and I said I want this to be a mansion. And you said it wouldn't work.
Yeah, but it doesn't fit.
But we need a spooky mansion.
Yeah, maybe on another plot. Maybe a spooky adventure mansion.
Because if we don't have a spooky mansion, we didn't really do the spook. Can we just do a mansion here? Just push it out?
Nobody will see it. Nobody will see it ever.
Well, from the ride you will, right?
No, the ride is going by too fast. You will not see it. And it's mostly when it's going around the carousel, your point of view is to the
okay, well, whoever takes this plot, if you can prove that a haunted house will work here, I'll let you do it.
Do it.
Yeah,
do it.
So whoever takes that plot has permission to attempt a spooky house, because Planet Coaster Spooky would not be spooky without a haunted house. And Project PlanCo will not be complete without a spooky haunted house. And that's what I have to say about that. We added the Christmas in, we got to add the spooky haunted house. But yeah, you make a very good point with the native stuff. So we got native everything, whereas in the city, it's actually kind of interesting because now that you bring it up, everything is like World's Fair and later expansions. We kind of worked backwards in some ways, where we took all of the more advanced and most recent like Studios DLC, World's Fair DLC, all of those things that you get later on in the progression of this game's life, we did first.
Yeah, somehow, yeah.
But it just happened to work that way because all of this stuff is most fitting for a city. So now we actually get to play Planet Coaster in some way for Phase 2 because this is all traditional stuff. We get to now build our awesome fairy tale castles and sci-fi little villages. All of this stuff that you see here, both the castle and the towns, that's what this fantasy stuff should end up looking like, especially this boarding station. But this boarding station has to be taken by a master or a legend, and it has to be Princess Amelie-fied. We have to PlanCo-fy it, turn it into Princess Amelie, and we also have one for Missy Goods. And my vision for this, and I would imagine whoever's building this, black and white with pink, right? That's your Missy Goods.
That'd be cool. So
a black and white castle with pink.
The signs always say has to fit Missy or Missy bad good. Here, fantasy fits Missy. The other one is fantasy fits Emily, and yeah.
Yep, so a big giant black and white castle with some pink splatters on it and pink trim, pink highlights. That'll look sick. I'm actually more excited to see how that turns out than I am the princess one, just because we have such an amazing princess castle back here. So I think whoever builds the boarding station for this coaster should try to emulate what this creator did. Who was it? BKU? I can't remember now. Losing track of names.
I think it was BKU, yeah.
Yeah, whatever they did here, but like just a little bit more pop in terms of princess, because that coaster in particular is missing all these like nice blues that she's so well known for. Blue, yellow, pink, that sort of thing. Gold. Maybe we can have a crown at the top or something, you know. PlanCo-fy it, put some ribbons on there. Very, very cool. So there's quite a bit of fantasy plots over here, but also the Christmas plots was a nice surprise. There's more Christmas plots than there are fantasy plots in theory, maybe?
It's 50-50 more or less. I think one has 15, the other one has 16. These are smaller ones, just small ones. Yeah.
And while it doesn't look like there's a lot of fantasy plots, there's the present. So when we get this big castle in and this big castle in, this big entrance
these
in,
two plots took the most
it's
space.
gonna feel very fantasy at the end of the day when all of these plots get in. And this is actually like a perfect size to represent the fantasy area, because it doesn't just end there. As you have the Christmas village and you have the fantasy back here, you also have the Malice in Wonderland, the Alice in Wonderland fantasy. There's this whole world to explore, which I guess you haven't touched up here. There needs to be some plots here.
That's okay. No, I talked to Enigmandra. She's doing this section.
Oh, Enigmandra, cool.
And for the curve, I will use her graves. So I spoke to her and she liked to do it.
Cool. Awesome. So then, yeah, so that this whole area, in theory, is fantasy. It's massive. It's not just this. Yeah. Because we have fantasy pirate, we have fantasy princess, we have fantasy wonder, and that's a lot of different fantasy themes. This is just kind of like the foot area where the guests get to walk around, and it is still quite big in comparison to, like, if you take this like chunk here and you compare it to one of the chunks in the city, that's like a third of the city, a quarter maybe, a quarter. But it's still large. But then you add the pirate in with that, and it's getting larger and larger and larger. So it's a big sprawling area. But this is kind of adventure. But I look at like Tiki Adventure is slightly different. I don't know what your plans are for this, but we'll talk about it next week, because you're gonna come up with something there and some stuff here, and that's what we'll be discussing in next week's video. So probably a little bit more content in this week, but I think for what we'll probably do going into next week, because you'll have all of the final plots in, like if we're gonna showcase what's added for adventure and pirate and Tiki, then in theory we should have all of the final plots in. So
Yeah, that's it. Then
what we'll
we're
probably
done and we're
do,
ready to go.
hopefully for next week, what you guys can expect is the sign note sheet. Because if I'm going to showcase all of the plots and finish them, I think it would be a good opportunity to explain how it's launching, how you can sign up for the raffle, how you can get your name in the pool, and how you can get yourself the plot that you want. And we're gonna have to make request forms so that people can say, like, I think the way we're gonna do it, just as a prediction and just the way I'm thinking about it in my head, we'll have a sign out sheet that, like, okay, my name is Bob, and I would really like plot F11 for fantasy, but if I can't get it, my second pick would be plot F13. Maybe you get a pick like 2 or 3. That way it's like first come, first serve, but like if somebody beats you to it, you know what I mean? There we can assign you your second favorite pick. That sort of thing, if that makes sense. And we're just gonna have to look at all the people that signed up, then do the raffle, randomly pick names one by one, let them choose. So in the case that, like, I draw Bob's name from the hat first, well, he gets the plot that they wanted, right? Because his name was drawn from the hat first. If he was drawn from the hat 10th and this plot was already taken, we can assign them their second favorite plot. And, you know, we just work our way down the list, drawing names from the hat. And we already know what your favorite picks would be. So if you get drawn early, we can get you that. And then we get to near the bottom of the list where we're running low on plots. We might have to go message the creator and say, look, all 3 of your favorite plots are taken, but there's still 25 available. What would you like? And we'll try to get an even spread of all different builders. And we don't know exactly how it's going to play out until we do it, but that's kind of how I have it in my head. Everyone gets to sign up of all different ranks, and then because we have an even distribution between builders, advanced, experts, masters, etc., everyone's going to take, if your name is in the hat, you're going to have an opportunity to get drawn. And if we just have enough people, like there's 140 plots and we have 140 people sign up, well, then everybody just gets, we don't need to do the raffle. We just don't need to do the raffle, right? But I would like to leave the sign out sheet open for a few days rather than just being like first come, first serve like last time. We'll look at how many people actually sign up. After 3-4 days passes, we can go, okay, this is the final amount. If there's 140 people that sign up and there's 140 plots, we don't need to draw names from the bucket. We could just work our way from
if everybody chooses a different plot. But yeah.
Well, that's why I said, like, it would be good if we have it in the form, like, what is your first pick, what is your second, what is your third? That way, if it does come down to we have as many people wanting to put a plot in as we have plots, then we could just literally work our way down the list from first come, first serve. And if we've allowed people to pick their first, second, and third favorite plots, we should be able to roughly get everybody what they wanted. And I think it'll work out nicely.
Hopefully, yeah.
We didn't really show off this.
Western. Yeah, Western, the last one. We have some, nice little
You're making
Western
me build
buildings. We
two?
have yeah. For a sad case, yes.
All right, and
So,
where's
those are
Chance?
reserved for you. Chance?
You didn't watch last episode?
Did I?
Chant
I
wanted
watched-
wanted a plot next to you. We're gonna give this one to Chant.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Rip builder. Sorry, I'm gonna color this pink. This one's for
Okay.
Chant. There we go. Good enough.
Yeah. Okay. Then I have to tighten up the
Well,
rules.
we made a joke. No, that's fine. I mean, it is what it is. We made a joke that, like, I built here and she was my neighbor here. So
that's why.
she asked me what I would be interested in doing. I said, maybe Western, because I've never built Western in this game. So
I also stole a Western plot. There's one blueprint for me already placed.
cool. No, I mean, Western already looks good, and it's more about the ride experience than anything. And I see you modified this building. That looks great.
No, that's just my blueprint.
Oh, it didn't look like this last time, or did it? It looks better than
I moved
when I
it.
last looked.
No, I didn't modify anything. I just moved it to a better position.
Something seems different to me, but in a good way. Yeah. So, but somebody has to make us an epic Miss Ellie train station. Is this a Miss Ellie?
This train station? Yeah,
I mean, it's a Western train station.
I included the pass to the station. So you can theme from the bottom to the top and do whatever you want to do. It's
Oh,
not
there's
easy,
like a
the passing
mine
is there.
tunnel.
Yeah.
Look at that. Yeah, you gotta like fill all this.
You can say I was too lazy to do it. But yeah, it's part of the blueprint.
Making a crazy mine shaft queue is quite cool, though. Whoever takes that is a legend, or a master. But if you do it well as a master, you're a legend now. And you even did like a bridge plot. That's quite fun.
Yeah, I wanted to have some not the standard bridges we have for the train. I think here would have some nice Western wooden steel bridges would be nice here. Because we have the shooting right going through, we have the coaster going through, so it should fit the theming a little bit. So 2 plots for bridges.
It's great.
Yeah, so we have some plots.
I was a little bit concerned about this. Like this is the entrance to the western area. I was worried that it was like cut off here. I was talking to Zayfor about this early on, and I was like, "Oh, your coaster might be like too much to the right. The path should be like over here." But I don't want to touch the coaster. I don't want to mess with it. It fits well, but like whoever builds this here, this sign, the entrance.
To be careful, yeah.
Not only be careful, but like should center. Like we're gonna call it what? Like did we come up with a name for this area? Westworld or something? I don't have a name. No, it was somebody. No. Frontier. I think somebody named it, and we pinned it in a long time ago. I think it was Bitter Elegance that came up with the name. It was like something Frontier. Oh. Ellie's Frontier.
So Ellie's Frontier. Okay.
Ellie's Frontier. So we'll call this area Ellie's Frontier. So we need a Theme Maker Toolkit font that says Ellie's Frontier, right? We'll allow that. And I think we have to establish what we're going to do for fantasy as well. Like, do we call this, we need a name for this. We need names for the areas. So maybe we can let people fire away. I don't think we came up with a name for fantasy, right? Like, I don't want to just say like fantasy area. So what
people give us names down in the comment, and I will create some nice TMTK signs.
Yeah,
fitting
do we
for
call it
it
Fantasia Land? You know, what do you guys want to name? Wonderland. Wonderlands. I think that was originally on the map that I made. I think I called this Wonderland. So if I'm fine with Wonderland, if someone has a better idea, I'm all for it. But I like Ellie's Frontier because it's majority focused around Ellie over here. Frontier plays off of the developers. Frontier developed the game, but Frontier is also kind of like a Western term. So very, very fun. I think that's that.
Yeah, Ellie's Frontier fits super well.
And we need a name for Sci-Fi. Cosmic Kingdom. We already had a name, right? Cosmic Kingdom. That's
Cosmic Kingdom.
Cosmic Kingdom. So that's official. Cosmic Kingdom. Ellie's Frontier. All we really need a name for is fantasy. So help us to come up in the comments what this should be, and then we will give you the privilege of using those fonts, the TMTK fonts, when you make the Wonderland, and use a beautiful Wonderland font, fill it with princesses and donuts and fantasy stuff, and then same with the concept over here, Ellie's Frontier. You got Ellie on the front and all Western awesomeness, guns, pew pew, and then over here we'll have some crazy cosmic sign. This is both a park entrance and a monorail, and I think that's very special. So that's a high class build right there for one of our masters or legends to take out there. Amazing. This is absolutely amazing. So will there be any additional plots that crop up along the way? I don't really know. I don't really think so. I think you've pretty much nailed it. And
no. It's so cramped already with plots and everything.
Yeah, I would imagine that like if there's little
dressing room.
Yeah, dressing room. So that's probably what it'll be. But generally speaking, I think this is like the final version, other than the fact that, you know, we're gonna have some additional stuff in for next week's episode. But I think in next week's episode, we could probably just show off the empty maps that like just include those areas and be like, this is what you can download.
Would be an idea.
and then we'll just be like, this is the finished Sci-Fi area. Because if you've watched this video here today, you kind of know what to expect, that it's going to be the same next week, but with some additional plots over here and here. So they'll just, at that point, we might as well just launch phase 2 and let people start taking their stuff. So we'll do something for next week where we just give a brief overview of what those are, reiterate the rules and what we're looking for. And before we go ahead and do that episode, I will have a talk with you just to make sure we finalize some of the things we talked about here today, like more Dexar feeling color palettes on this side. I want to make sure that's a thing, you know, making sure that people know what the name of the fantasy area is called, making sure we have clear instructions that this is called Ellie's Frontier. Any final rules and regulations for individual plots we will finalize throughout this week going into next week, right? Very cool.
All right.
Yeah, wow. I'm looking at the recording. We're almost approaching 50 minutes, so very, very cool.
Again, okay.
Almost a full, whenever batch is on, we get the full hour episode. That's great. So everyone wants Batch as a guest from now on, because we can really fill up the space when we're talking. So
I don't talk so much, but you talk a lot to me.
well, you did a lot, and I have to talk about all the things that you did and take a look at it. So, but yeah, you're right.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it.
No, it's
yeah, it's finally coming together. 1 month late for what we have planned, but nevertheless, we get some awesome plots. We got a lot of plots. I mean, we once said, okay, we want to have this park finished by what was Frontier's birthday? 27th November,
17th,
whatever.
I believe. Yeah, I mean, so we're coming.
So
that's like a week away.
That will not happen. It's a Christmas park, so yeah.
I would love to have this done by the end of the year, like before December 30th or whatever. That would be ideal. I don't know if that's possible because it's already November, but you know, if we could finish up in January at the latest, that would be good, because I have some new stuff that I want to try for the new year. And this being on my plate is going to detract from that. So ideally, yeah, I would like to be done in a month or two. And once the form goes live,
I mean, once the plots are in creation you will get the first of that day. I mean, we have some really small plots with only 100 pieces and less, especially in the Christmas area. So there will be plots, there will be builds, finished builds, and a good quality very, very soon after we have done the raffle.
Yeah.
So yeah, then it's going on, and we're back to 3 videos a week. I don't know what you want to do, maybe 2.
Yeah, well, if you guys are submitting, to add to what you just said there, like if a week goes by and I have 10 fantasy plots already submitted to me, I will break those into 2 videos, place 5, showcase 5, and then I have 2 videos, and I can go to 2 a week. But it's all going to be completely dependent on how many I'm getting, and I always want to work ahead. So if I have like enough content to do 2 this week, I also have to have enough content for 2 next week. So if I only have 3 videos, I'll do 1 this week, 2 next week. And then hopefully by then I'll have more videos. So it all depends on how fast they come in and how much volume we have and how many I want to showcase per episode. And I think in the past, near the end, I was doing like 5 per episode, and I feel like that's a fair amount, right? It stretches out the episode, and people like to see me place it. So what I'll do is I'll start the recording. Here we are, fantasy. I got this building in, and then I'll be like, boom, place the building, fit it in, check it, make sure it's all fitting nicely, that the shop is hooked up, and then we'll move on to the next one. And I won't speed build or surprise. I'll just do it as I go to make sure that the episodes are as long as possible, because people seem to want that. So you'll all the plots, you'll see me placing all of them and reviewing all of them times 140. I'm gonna be busy this this holiday.
You're gonna be busy. Oh my god. Okay.
But it is the holidays as well. So going into December, I got a plan for Christmas presents, get my place nice, get gifts and things, and go shopping. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to manage 2 videos a week on top of all that, plus doing Christmas specials for Park Spotlight Christmas edition and all that. So, and I would love for December to have like 7 videos a week all month long. That's a lot to digest, and basically I got to get started now and make the most out of November in order to free myself up for December and get as much content out. So we'll go with it. We'll roll with the punches, see what happens. But ideally, I just as much as you would love to do 2 videos a week for Project PlanCo. We'll see what happens. But big shout out and big thank you to Batch, because you absolutely knocked it out of the park again. These plots are incredible, and I can kind of envision and see what the park is going to look like. It really helps build a visual representation of what we can expect, and based off of how those plots transformed here to what we see here today, it was quite a transformational, fun.
Oh, this transformation was awesome.
It really was.
I mean, I still have the old park versions on my computer, and when you see all the plots and then compare it to this, it's
really special.
Such a blast to watch how this park grew and looks now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love it. I am looking forward to the park tour, because there's even things you Johnny, have not seen yet that I have placed.
And I mean, it's just like walking through this amazing, like, look at all these characters that Chant has done for us, that you've turned into TMTK. We've revisualized every single character in Planet Coaster, and you just feel that walking into this amazing park entrance by Tanzo's X-Wing. Get your tickets. You get this cheesy PlanCo main strip area, Main Street PlanCo. It's like nothing you've ever seen before in Planet Coaster, and it just continues to transform. The details are everywhere, World's Fairs included. This park has everything. It's phenomenal.
The Japanese, the Asian area, it's so detailed. We have so many stuff there. It's so amazing.
And I personally, I've been putting things in, like, even now, just like flying through with the camera, I'm like, look how different everything is. So I did
a lot of polishing that you have not yet seen, so yeah.
I've placed a lot of stuff in, but then each phase there's new little details that you add in, but then there's the surrounding areas that are going to change things. Because I remember specifically working over here, placing all these builds and stuff, and always like kind of looking down here and then thinking like, I wonder what Sci-Fi will look like one day. I always had that thought,
Yeah, when this town is placed and you have this big Sci-Fi town, it will.
We're gonna have that one day. And that day is coming soon, and we'll be able to traverse from one area to another, and it's been a long time coming to see that. So cheers to phase 2, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to Batch for helping us get there. And now from here, you guys can look forward to, hopefully next week, getting started on your plots. And that should create some buzz on Discord again. People can get their hands dirty, get building, have fun. And I'm hoping there should be enough plots for everybody to get one. So be ready.
I do my best to have a lot of plots that you're all satisfied with the different areas. I hope there's really enough for everybody, because I know some would love to do a lot would love to do Western, but we have limited space. I'm sorry for that. And also the spooky area, the Dark Carnival.
One person.
Really the space there. But I know, but I figure something out that we may get a little bit more spooky in.
Can we do like a haunted house on top of the hill or something?
I thought about that.
Like maybe
thought about that. Yeah, I thought about it.
I want my haunted house, damn it.
It doesn't fit really. Yeah, no, I have an idea.
It's Planet Coaster. It fits. We'll make it fit.
If it works out.
I think if it's on the hill, it kind of, because when I first opened up the park, I was like, where's the spooky area? I thought you deleted it or something. I was like, where'd it go?
No. Every piece is still there. I just changed triggers and stuff because there were the animatronics, the people animatronics. Oh my gosh, hundreds.
Hear me out. And it's a little bit extra, but what you can do here, take this path that you've started here, and we can have
it should be a river.
Well, we could do something. A path.
But I know what you mean. A path to the top, and
a
then
path that takes us up, and we'll call it like the spooky path. And you can add maybe 5 to 6 spooky blueprints along the sides of the paths, just for anything that somebody wants to do, whether it's like a little pumpkin, a Nigmander pumpkin, you know, like a pumpkin shop. So, because that way, when you look at it up here and there's a spooky house on top of the hill, you know, oh, that's the spooky area over here, and then the ride's underneath. And we can have a few spooky blueprints along the path, and I think that's more than enough. I think we can make that work. So maybe we can have a path that comes up through here somewhere, up there, and there's a spooky mansion at the top. We'll give a plot for someone there. A couple little, just
it out.
I'll twist your arm.
No promise yet. I know. But I check it out if it's possible to.
Thank you.
That it looks nicely on top of it.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, I also have an idea. But I check both ideas if both work, or one of them is enough.
But like everywhere I look in this park, I could tell what these areas are. If I see that spooky haunted house over there and a few spooky things.
Go tonight and you see this area.
I know. But this is a carnival. It's not traditional. You know.
So, I mean, the ride is so spooky. You don't see it if you just fly by. I mean, it's not meant to be that you fly into this area. I mean, you have the entrance, you have the exit, and you will directly go to the right usually. Yeah, that's the exit, but it doesn't matter. And it already looks creepy. Chant did a hell of a job with all these creepy figures.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And the ride itself, it's
and
spooky.
we forgot to mention,
not yet done this park.
well, either you or whoever takes this station has to theme this tunnel.
I know. I think I will do it. I have an idea that looks a little bit creepy, but fits to the style of the carnival, and it's pretty easy to do, so probably do it. It's something I can do in between when the plots are ready to sign, and I have a little bit of time for some polish. So
Perfect. Give me my spooky haunted house and we win. All right. We're at 59 minutes. I think we just keep finding more to talk about, so whatever we have left over,
we will find a lot, yeah.
We'll save it for future episodes because we missed a week and we don't want that to happen again. So rather than, talking about everything here today, we'll have more to talk about next week in terms of these plots, the train station and all that, and then hopefully a sign-up form for you guys so you can get started. So we'll see you all in next week's episode. Get ready to build, and thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you then. Bye now.
Bye.